So I apologize to the audience in advance for this. This is a question for all of you. It's necessary. I think it's important. As some of you might know, I recently lost a bid for Minister of Finance. Congrats again, James. But in running up to that bid, I spent a lot of time at SRC meetings familiarizing myself with how the SRC works and what the job entailed. While there, I didn't see a lot of you guys there. So why should we trust you to run our SRC next year?
Okay, well, I am on the SRC right now, and I've attended every meeting this year, as well as a lot of the meetings in my first year as well, and I think I do have a lot of the logistical areas of the SRC down, and I think this is a great question to put forward as well.
I've definitely been to numerous meetings last year and this year. I've also worked very closely with both IDA and the coordinator of internationalism at Quest Will, and I feel like I understand the struggles that international students face at Quest, and I feel like, and I believe that I'm capable of helping them solve those issues. Thank you.
Well, Ross, as you know, I've attended almost every SRC meeting for the last few months, and I've also gotten multiple events funded by the SRC, and I've also talked with Graham a lot about what the specific position entails, so I feel like I kind of have a grip on how it works.
The SRC has a Twitter page. On that Twitter page, there are 6 photographs. I am in 3 of them. Call that wanting to know what I was getting myself into, call that a nerdy love of student government, but I'm in half the pictures on the SRC Twitter page.
Also, the SRC Twitter page, I've followed the SRC Twitter page quite a lot on their summaries of meetings. Frankly, Zach Hirschman's summary of the deep fryer debate was golden. But seriously,
Not Zach Hirschman.
That wasn't Zach?
Thanks.
Sorry, thought it was Zach. My bad. Anyway, on a more serious note, I have been involved in clubs organizing numerous events, such as the Halloween party with Sarah Kolpitz. I have also spoken with Brindy about what this position really entails. I am interested generally just in health and wellness enough to feel like I have the capacity to really transform even the role from SRC to something that is more active in campus and something that is more than a funding platform but is more dynamic, as Taya said in her speech. And I additionally have more experience in student government from educational institutions outside of Quest.
I actually am pretty involved with the SRC with a variety of clubs I've gone to. So just recently with the Indian Food Club, we're doing a butter chicken night. I organize a variety of clinics. This is on my own personal time down to Vancouver for individuals to go donate blood. I do this with Right to Play, with a variety of yoga raves, with a dodgeball tournament. I've done this in the past with Questable. So I do go to the SRC, but you may just not have seen me as the times you go. Sorry, that was not meant to be rude in any way.
Way to break the accountability, Ross. I've been to 2 SRC meetings. I've got 1 proposal funded, and I'm going to hopefully get 2 more next week. I have 4 years of student government at my other school. Past school. I don't have 2 lives. Even though I haven't necessarily attended a lot of meetings, I've been involved in many other initiatives around Quest, and so I feel like I have a broader vision for what the SRC could be as a voice for the students, aside from just allocating funding at meetings. As well, I've talked to Nessa, and I've been to a number of foundation concentration talks and things like that. So I feel like I've been involved in other ways, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while.
Last year I was the secretary on the SRC, which, if you count being at the meeting, then listening and transcribing it, is like going to 3 meetings every night. And so I was also the secretary of another organization, became the chair of that organization I'm used to meetings, boards, that kind of thing. This year, I'm going to be totally honest with you, my priorities were different. I am still working 2 jobs, got involved with other things. I think that's okay. And next year I'd like to prioritize being on the SRC. So, there's that.
I have been going to SRC meetings for the past 2.5 years, and I met with the External Affairs Minister in my first year when I ran in my first year, and I met with the External Affairs Minister last year when I ran last year.
I met with the External Affairs Minister before I ran this year. But I also have been to the SRC, I think a couple times this year for proposals, and the year before that too, but mostly I didn't go, but I was busy with other things and will prioritize it if I get in next year, and yeah.
I think it's a really great question. I have been to SRC meetings in the past. This year I've made being a floor rep my priority and being on the soccer team and trying to work and be involved in my academics. So I follow the Twitter feed, you guys on Facebook. Basically I'm a groupie, but I haven't been present at the actual meetings, I will admit that. But that's something that I would make a priority next year if I were on the council. And I would try to make a priority anyway next year because I'm interested in it.
Okay, so I have been to several SRC meetings this year because I was considering running for this position. I could tell you what proposals were proposed at the February 3rd meeting, but I don't think that's necessary. I could also list off all the meetings, all the events that I've run on campus that are environmentally related, but that would be really boring. So I'm just going to say that I've been talking to Natalie, and I talk to Kestrel all the time. She was the minister, not this year, but last year. And I look forward to finding out all the, and meeting all the learning curves that I know will come, regardless of how much experience I had with the SRC this year. So thanks.
Hi. I've been to SRC meetings in the past. In fact, last year I was really involved in the constitutional review process. There was a meeting in which Graham, who was the president at the time, hosted, and I was literally the only student that attended and sat through and read the whole constitution with him. We went over it, so I've gotten stuff funded for the beekeeping club, so I think I have a bit of understanding how it works. But I think one of the main reasons you should trust me to answer your question is that I'm really, really passionate about academics. I'm one of the peer reviewers this year for the Quest Academic Journal. I've spoken extensively with Nigel and Nessa about what they do, and I've been to pretty much any meeting that relates specifically to courses at Quest and what is offered. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing this up for us. This is actually, I'm a little ashamed to say why, but I haven't been to one of the SRC meetings yet, but I have taken advantage of going to the office hours, and I live with Janalee, so I do get to hear about everything that passes. It's not a good excuse to not attend, but I hope that you can trust me that I will work hard to understand how it works and take a leap of faith that I am invested in this, and I would really like to be more committed at least next year, even if I do not get the position.
Hi Ross, thank you for asking the question. I am extremely loyal to my commitments, and the SRC has not been a commitment of mine. My decision to run as a minister has come recently, as I intend to stay on campus for 8 blocks for the first time in my 3 years at Quest, and I am taking that opportunity to, instead of being involved on the tail ends of the academic year, to have a position that for the first time can allow me to be present throughout the entire academic year. And while I have not been to as many SRC meetings as yourself, I admire your dedication. However, it did not seem to work for a few people, so thank you for asking the question.
Hi, I've never attended an SRC meeting, but I have read through every single meeting minute since my time of arrival here. And I have found other ways to contribute my passion for arts and culture to the community. I provided free accordion lessons. I participate in as many performances as I can. In addition to that, I've spoken with Graham, our future vice president, about the changes that he is hoping for and dedicated to, and they are inspiring to me, and so I feel like now is as good a time as any to start. So thank you.
Just curious, Eva, are you tweeting this?
I'm tweeting it.
Anyway, good call. I've enjoyed the tweets too. So within 5 days of being on campus, I applied for the chairperson position. Within 10 days, I tried to run a meeting. I think it went all right. At least I survived. It's been a learning process throughout the year. Things have gone well enough, and they're getting better by the day. So I've really learned a lot as part of the SRC. I've read or at least skimmed every proposal. I mean, anyone who's proposed has heard from me. I think enough said.
Hi, so I'm reading for Valeria because she's in Bhutan. So we have like a little Google Doc set up here. I don't go to the SRC meetings more than once every 2 months because the vast majority of the time, there is spent discussing issues such as funding proposals that would be better discussed online. More SRC meetings are a waste of time. Most SRC meetings are a waste of time. Most of the dialogue and growth in our community happens outside of the SRC office. So that's where I want to be, and that's where I spend most of my time. Most of my work has been on getting dialogue started outside of the SRC and in the community. For this purpose, I've received funding from the SRC many times over the past 3 years for the Quest Pan-African Association and Multi-Faith Club, and therefore I know how the procedures work. Ultimately, we need to bring dialogue inside the SRC office. If that happens, then I'm sure that more people than just ministers will show up at the meetings. But until that happens, ministers cannot expect that any other students will attend unless they have a direct stake in the meeting.